The first half of 2016 has been a year of ups and downs, triumphs and tragedies. WrestleMania 32 underwhelmed despite its spectacle. Nakamura came to NXT. Chyna and Balls Mahoney sadly passed away. Shane returned, bringing a new era. Roman lost the title, won the title, lost the title, got suspended. Seth Rollins and Pacitti returned on the same night. I was much less happy about one of those two. That whole, Dean Ambrose thing. So with 6 months under our belt, it's time to look back at the first half of 2016 and evaluate a few things. For example, how is Jack the Jobber actually getting younger? It doesn't seem biologically possible. The first thing to note is there's been some amazing wrestling this year, and not just in WWE. I'm Adam from WhatCulture.com, and here are the 10 best matches of 2016 so far. Also, these are just my opinions, man, so there's no need to get stressed about it. Number 10, the Intercontinental title ladder match, WrestleMania 32. It was a real toss-up as to which ladder match belonged here, the most recent Money in the Bank, with its multiple false finishes and stupidly good spot from Cesaro jumping off the ladder into a springboard uppercut. That is a tasty sauce. But the Mania match just pips it. One of the best WrestleMania openers in years. There were spots aplenty. ZAYN cleaning house by jumping through a ladder. Stardust's dusty ladder. Dolph's super kick party. ZAYN murdering Kevin Owens with an exploder suplex. And finally, the shock Zack Ryder win. Combine all of that with a record-breakingly big crowd, you got a recipe for a classic spectacle match. Number 9, the Young Bucks versus Matt Sydal and Ricochet. PWG. Well, this is just flippy as shit. Matt and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks, have made a living out of doing very silly, ludicrously acrobatic things in the name of wrestling. Add to the mix Ricochet, who may literally have springs instead of bones, and you got one of the most over-the-top spot fests in PWG, spiritual home of the over-the-top spot fest. The flippy matches tend to divide people, with some rightfully cross about the total unbelievability of the choreography and the terrible selling, but there's no denying that some of the offense in this match is incredibly creative, with Ricochet nailing one of the most jaw-dropping hot tags in the business. You may not think it's wrestling, but it's damn pretty. Number 8, the Intercontinental Championship Fatal 4-Way Extreme Rules. The Intercontinental title's seen some beautiful matches this year. We've already mentioned the ladder match. Ambrose and Owens put on a brilliant last man standing match at the Royal Rumble. The Miz and Cesaro at Payback was also stellar, but this is the best 2016 battle for the belt so far. The Miz defended the title in a Fatal 4-Way against ZAYN, Owens and Cesaro, 3 of the best damn workers in the entire company. The result was a blisteringly good match with not only an electric pace, but great story moments, with ZAYN haluva kicking Owens right out of the gate, Maurice getting involved, Owens doing some strong healing. It's a great contest and a statement that WWE's mid-card is one of the strongest in the world right now. Number 7, Ricochet versus OSPREAY, New Japan Super Juniors. You talk about matches that divide people. Dave Meltzer gave it 4 3/4 stars for its creative offense and crazy escalation of momentum, and then you have members of the old school that decry it as violent dancing and nothing more. OSPREAY and Vader are currently involved in a bitter Twitter feud over that match. Bitter Twitter is satisfying to say, and people seem split right down the middle, love it or hate it. Again, whatever your personal feelings are about what wrestling should be, the pure athleticism and innovation on display is utterly breathtaking, and if nothing else, it's bloody memorable. Also, kudos to Will Ospreay for bringing thick British wrestling to a Japanese ring. Number 6, Ishii versus Shibata, Wrestle Kingdom 10. So much beautiful kicking, so much wonderful pain. Some background: Shibata and Ishii are in New Japan Pro Wrestling, which is famous for its strong style, proper stiff punches, chops that will slice the top layer of meat off your chest, and kicks with more force than cannon fire. Shibata and Ishii are separately regarded as two of the stiffest competitors in New Japan, with Ishii headbutting people to death and Shibata having a doctorate in kicking people where their brain is. Put the two together and you have one of the most wince-inducing matches of the year, and not wince-inducing like that silly blood and light tubes bollocks, wince-inducing like watching two of the hardest men on the planet thump the absolute out of each other. At one point they just take turns sitting on the ground inviting their opponents to kick them as hard as they can. It puts hairs on your chest. Number 5, Aztec Warfare Lucha Underground. Aztec Warfare is the Royal Rumble's punk rock son. There've only been 2 in Lucha Underground history, but each time they've guaranteed utter pandemonium. The format is simple: 20 men enter, 1 every 90 seconds, and they fight until 19 of them have been eliminated by pinfall or submission. What happens next is pure chaos, and while it's definitely a spot fest, what ranks Aztec Warfare Warfare 2 so highly on the list is the amount of storytelling they crammed into the hour. Joey Ryan handcuffing himself outside the ring to prevent being eliminated, Champion Phoenix entering first and trying to go the distance, the return of Dario Cueto and the debut of Matanza, possibly the most athletic monster heel since Brock Lesnar in his first run. There's all sorts of goodness in there, one of the best hours of wrestling in years. Number 4, AJ vs Reigns, Extreme Rules. Anyone who says Roman Reigns can't wrestle, have a watch of this. AJ Styles may be the MVP of the match, but it sure as shit takes two to tango, and the amount of high-octane craziness in this match is a joy, whether it's the two men battering each other on the kickoff table, Styles going wild on the entirety of Samoa with a steel chair, the club versus the Usos, Reigns slamming AJ Styles against a barricade and apron, and then a little thing like Seth Rollins just happening to return at the end. Even grudgingly, you have to admit it was great work from Reigns, and Styles further cemented himself as one of the top stars in the entirety of wrestling today. Number 3, AJ vs Nakamura, Wrestle Kingdom 10. Oh, hello AJ, you're still here. Nakamura came to WWE with a huge amount of fanfare. Wondering why? Check this out. Nakas and Styles went to war with each other in this instant classic, with both men wrestling like it was their last big match in Japan, because it was. A fence as crisp as it can be, mixed with a hard-hitting Japanese style, demonstrated why this was pegged as a dream match. Both men had so many signature moves that are over as hell. It seems so simple. Put them in the same ring, have them put each other through crowd-popping sequence after crowd-popping sequence. And it ends with two of the most vicious bomb-aries, or should I call them Kinshasas now, that Nakamura's ever delivered. It's just great. That's 2 matches from Wrestle Kingdom 10. Hell, why not a third? Number 2, Tanahashi vs Okada, Wrestle Kingdom 10. Hiroshi Tanahashi and Kazuchika Okada have a rivalry, and you know how epic WWE think the rivalry between Cena and Orton is? Well, the Tanahashi-Okada feud is actually that epic. It spanned 4 years, 7 matches, all of which for the main championship in New Japan, all of which have been ranked 4 or more stars by Dave Meltzer, 3 of which being ranked a perfect 5, including this massive 36-minute marathon. The two men finally blew off their feud in grand storytelling style, with old hand Tanahashi passing the torch to younger Okada. The final sequence, which saw Okada, with the previous year's loss burned into his brain, clinging desperately to Tanahashi's wrist to hit one last almighty finisher, is an example of wrestling storytelling at its most effective. It's really, 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 really good. And number 1, ZAYN vs Nakamura, TakeOver Dallas. You may disagree with this match being ranked so highly, but for me there's been just nothing else like it this year. When you take a crowd as reliably fanatical as a TakeOver crowd and stick 2 of the world's best in the ring, you get magic. Add to that the pure distilled hype of Shinsuke Nakamura making his WWE debut. Everyone was desperate to know, would he be allowed to be as good as he was in Japan in NXT? The answer is yes. Yes. The two men took each other to an utter beauty of a match, with the crowd into both men to a rabid degree. Fight forever, they chanted, and bloody right too. And that's our list. Did we miss any out? Tell us about it in the comments. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter here. I'm Adam from WhatCulture.com, and I'll see you soon.